Here, welcome to a counselor's journey to private practice. So we are doing another Q&A session, and you're probably going to see this outfit a lot because today is my Q&A day. I've got literally my entire notebook written down with all the questions that were emailed, and I just want to take some time out. Take time out today to do just different videos on these questions. So sit back and let's dive into it. Hey Juan, I've been in private practice for 10 years. I know it's time for me to raise my fees, or my rates, sorry. How do I go about this? Good question, right? So you've been in practice for 10 years and you're looking at raising your fees, which I find such an interesting question because, you know, there's a bar, right? Like there's a level that we can't surpass. Like it would be outrageous if you, right, were seeking a counselor and then you saw that the intake session was like $1,000. Like what? At least that's my reaction. And maybe it's wrong, but I'm being vulnerable here with you. I think there should be a certain limit to it. And I think the limit's connected to our area where we live. You know, if you live in a certain area, that area has a market to it, socioeconomic class to it, money, the economic number, if you will, jobs and all of those variables. So if we look at that from a statistical point of view, that's going to highlight what your rate would be. So going back to the question, right? If you have this idea that, okay, I can't get to a $1 million session, then we look at what are small changes. And I think small changes cause a big change. That sounds kind of cheesy now that I'm saying it, but whatever, we'll roll with it. So what I mean by that is, let's say that your fee is $100 for a session, and you're kind of looking around and you're like, you know what? I've got 10 years in practice, 10 more years of experience there. I went from a associate level to fully independent to licensed to a supervisor level. I've got additional certifications and so on and so on. So you feel really confident that you're ready for that next step. One avenue is increasing it, let's say by $10, and you're like, $10? What? I'm not going to do that. It's chump change. Come on now, Juan. All right, I'm being cheesy with you. Now let's look at $10 across a year, right? 12 months, that's 120. So it adds up a little bit. And then we get that 120 and we say, well, what can we use with that? Well, that can probably pay off, maybe a percentage of your rent. That could pay off if you have a group practice, something in the insurance realm. You're looking at how you can utilize that there. No different, and this may be helpful to some out there, no different than the impact of a late cancellation. Right. So if some of us out there, if we don't collect that, then we can say, okay, that adds up after a while. So that's one avenue there, being able to add it in small increments. Another avenue is just digging back into the market research. Look in your area, identify starting clinicians, see where they're at, and then identify where you're at. Once you kind of have that variation there, you're going to see a differentiation. You may see that the starting clinicians are 100, same level where you're at, but you've got 10 years in practice. So then you can use that, push forward to go to maybe 120, 150, or even 200 an hour. You can double that rate. Now, once you decide on what that increase in is, I do think there's some ethical measures that we should take, or professionalism that we should take whenever communicating that. One is including some kind of letterhead or email newsletter to the current patients within your counseling practice, just letting them know what the changes are. Say, hey, starting at this point, the practice is going to go from X amount to X amount to the new amount for the session rate. You could have individuals that are grandfathered in, you could have individuals that remain in the old rate, and then the new ones coming in on the other rate. That's really up to you, right? It's your business. So you look at how you want to handle those metrics. Overall, I think it's really important to being transparent and into communicating your plan, your plan within your practice with those that you serve. So hopefully you found this supportive. As always, subscribe, hit a like if you will, share it with the colleagues, different counselors in the area that are looking to build their counseling practice, whether it's building passive income, getting their feet wet, starting off, branching off from a group practice to solo practice, wherever you're at in your journey of private practice. I think at this point, I have stumbled in each of those areas, and I feel that I have so much to share with you, so that you're not stumbling and you're enjoying it and you're succeeding. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing space with me, sharing these 5 minutes with me. Have an amazing day.